So there are some subtopics. Particularly, there are five. The first being the knockout tournaments. The next being round robin. Okay. The next being pool based. So what do we mean by pool based? Something like a combination of knockout plus round robin is called a pool based scenario. So in the starting, there will be a round robin kind of a thing, and then in the last, when every a proper 4 teams or 8 teams are shortlisted, then there will be a proper knockout kind of a thing. Okay, so that is a combination of the first two. The next would be the coin and you know dice based thing, and then we have miscellaneous kind of concepts. Okay, this is the coin and dice based are uh, do come under the selection based games and tournament kind of questions. Okay, we will discuss every part of it. Don't worry about that. But these are mainly the kind of case states that are asked. Okay, so if I try to start with the first fundamental, so knockout. So you must have heard this particular word a lot of times. Okay, so do you remember when you heard this word? In what reference did you hear it?
Elimination, probably. Like in a game
Yes.
where we hear
Yeah, it is
crickets only.
elimination. But you do you remember in which reference did you hear it? Knockout kind of a thing generally, or in the starting, it used to happen when there were two fighters, you know, in WWE or any kind of competition. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so when there are two fighters which are, playing a particular match, okay, be it any kind of kushti, it can be a WWE kind of a competition or whatever. So when a particular fighter knocks out the other fighter, okay, so he has been knocked out. Basically, he is not cautious. He is not in his own senses now. Okay, he has fallen to the ground completely. Okay, so do you think he'll be in a situation to play another match? Right. So these two fighters were fighting. This fighter gave a
No, sir, no,
final blow.
because he would be out of the tournament.
Yes. So this
Yeah.
fighter gave a particular final blow to this particular guy, and he is now on the ground. No, he is being taken on the stretcher out of the thing, out of the whole tournament. Okay. So knockout means that when there is a winner, the winner will move to the next match, but the loser would be out of the tournament. Okay. So if you lose a match, there's no second chances. This is the concept of knockout tournament. Do or die kind of a thing. Clear? The whole concept of it, right? So,
Yes,
so
sir.
if I now talk about the knockout tournament scenario, so there are some very basic kind of questions which are asked. Okay. So if there are n teams in a knockout tournament, so how many matches will happen? Okay. How many rounds will happen? What will be the condition for a buy? Okay. What do we mean by seed? What do we mean by score? Okay. So these all things. Now, the first question being, uh, if there are n teams, give me another any number between let's say 1 to 10, any number.
Five.
So if there are 5 teams, okay, A, B, C, D, and E. So there'll be a proper fashion to actually arrange these teams. What, according to you, should be the best
Yes, sir.
method to arrange the players in a tournament? What, according to you, should be the best way to do that? Is alphabetical way the right way? That who will play with another
Uh,
player, is alphabetical way is a very proper way to do that.
no, sir, because it doesn't consider a lot of other
Very good.
aspects of the teams or the
Right.
sport.
So what should be the thing? What should be the criteria?
So I think I feel like in an example where it's about boxing, they would divide it based on weight class, maybe something similar depending on the sport.
Right. So be it weight, be it, you know, the kind of a boxer he is, or anything, what is pointing to a particular thing, and that is called, that might be called a attribute of a fighter or attribute of the player. So, do you think the right way can be the rank of the players,
Yes, sir.
right? How good a fighter he is. So yes, that is the best way to actually, uh, you know, have a particular fight or arrange the players in the order of the ranking. The best player at the top, the worst player or the least best player at the bottom. So that should be the right way, and that is what we call a seed. Okay? So that is what we call a seed. Okay. Uh, Next thing is, if he is the rank 1 player, rank 2 player, rank 3 player, rank 4 player, rank 5 player. We talked about a particular tournament which is World Cup, which India won. So I'll repeatedly talk about that. So do you think that in the first match, what was the first match that India played? Did India play the first match against Pakistan directly?
No, sir.
Right. So what was the first match that India played? Or did India play either against England, Australia, South Africa? Were these the first few matches also?
No, sir. I think they played against other
Ireland for the
teams,
first match,
not the.
right? They
Yes,
played
sir.
against Ireland, then they played against, let's say, Afghanistan, then Pakistan, then USA, then Canada, and all of these things happened, right? So the first match are generally a warm-up matches. Even the first warm-up match happened against Bangladesh. Okay, so Bangladesh, or I don't remember. Yeah, I think it was Bangladesh. Right. So the first match here would be played between the best team and the least best team, or the worst team, I should say. Okay. So the first match happens between the rank 1 and the rank 5. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
The second match will happen between the second ranked
Third
team
and fourth.
and the fourth ranked team. Okay. So now this concept is called the concept of score. Okay. The sum of the seeds who play a particular match is called the score. Okay. And for that matter, in a particular round, in a particular round, generally what happens is score remains constant. Okay. In a particular uh, in a particular round, the score remains constant. If you see here, 1 plus 5, what was that? 6. 2 plus 4, what was that? 6. Okay. Now, who will play against the player seated 3 now? We don't have anyone, right? So he
Yes,
will
sir.
be directly given a bye. Without playing this particular match, he would
So,
be directly shifted to the next round. and that is called the condition for a bye.
So, sir, this only happens when there are an odd number of players.
Your thinking is quite on the lines, but not exactly. Yes, in a
Okay.
particular round, the buy will happen only when the number of players are odd. That is logically true as well. But there are other conditions for buy as well, and for how many buys will happen in all of these things. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So yes. Okay. Now, if there's another concept called upset. Okay. So when are you upset generally? I hope you never get upset, but again, we are human beings, so we have feelings, so we do get upset at multiple instances. So when was it? When you get upset, why? What is the main reason behind getting upset?
Maybe the match is a tie, or
Again, why?
maybe we lost a
See,
match.
obviously, someone will lose a match, someone will, you know, win the match. I'm not talking about games also. I'm talking about on a personal front. uh, why, what is the feeling, and what is the reason behind you getting upset about anything that happened in the last week? Let's say you must have been upset about something or the other in the last 1 week. So what was the reason behind that?
Maybe it didn't go according to plan, or
Very good, very good. Things doesn't go as expected. So just tell me, when a player seeded 1 plays a match against a player seeded 5. Okay. What was the expected result?
that team one would win and team five would lose.
Yes. If this happens, okay, you will feel yes, what was supposed to happen happened. Okay. But if the player seeded 5 wins instead of player seeded 1, this scenario is called an upset. Understood this part?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
An
So
unpredictable outcome.
yes, very good. An unpredictable outcome, not unpredictable, I should say, something which was not expected. Unpredictable thing is something which you did not predict at all. Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay,
Less probable outcome happened. Okay.
okay, sir.
Let's say just after World Cup, India played its first match against Zimbabwe. Okay. So did you follow that particular match that happened?
No, sir, I'm not a cricket fan.
Yeah. So Zimbabwe did not qualify for the World Cup also. Okay. When India played with Zimbabwe, they sent their B team. Okay. Not the main players. They did not send the main players. They sent their B team. Okay. So can you expect what was expected that the first T20 match that happened with Zimbabwe? What was the expected result? That India will
That
win,
India would win.
right?
Yeah.
So I also expected that, and I did not watch the match also. Okay. But actually, what happened? India lost.
Zimbabwe won.
Yeah. You know, so that is called an upset, right?
Got it.
Whenever India will lose, we will be upset about that because we are Indians, we are proud Indians. Everything is that there. But when the unexpected result happens, that is called an upset. Okay, that is the condition of for an upset. So this is what will happen in the first round. Okay, this is what happened in the round number 1. Now, in round number 2, what will happen? Who you think will play a particular match?
1, 2, and 3. So 1 and 3 will play the match, and two will get a bye.
Very good. So 1, which is team A, will play a particular match, will play the particular match, and if there is no upset, then player seeded 1 will move ahead, and player seeded 3 will be out of the tournament. In the first thing, what happened was player seeded 1 won, and player seeded 5 was out of the tournament. Between the match 2 and 4, if there's no upset, then 4 uh, or D lost the match and they are out of the tournament. Okay. Now, 2 will get a bye. Yes. two will get a bye, and this would be called round three. And because there are only two teams now, so this would also be called the final match, because after that we will get a particular winner and he will be the winner of the tournament. Okay.
Got it, sir.
Okay. And if in the whole tournament, if there are no upsets, then who is supposed to win? As expected, player seeded one, right? If there is
Yes,
no
sir.
upset. So in this particular example, there were five teams. How many matches happened? Match number one, match number two. Okay, in round one, there were two matches. In round number two, there was one match. In round number three, there was one match. So two plus one plus one. So four matches happened. How many matches? Four matches happened. How many rounds were there? There were three rounds.
Three
Okay.
rounds.
What is the condition for a buy? If there are odd number of players in a particular round, then there is supposed to happen. Then one match has to happen. One team will be there, which would be given a buy without playing a particular match also. Okay, in that particular round. What is the seed?
Yes,
It
sir.
is the rank of the players, as is called the seed. Okay, and why is the reason why it is called a seed net and not a rank? Because it's kind of seed is synonymous to seed kind of a thing. Okay, so what happens generally is if player seeded one is supposed to play with player seeded five, and there is an upset. Okay, so where would player seeded five be seated? Can you guess that?
At position one.
Very good. So if an upset happens, even though the worst team, luck by chance, if that team wins the particular match, so it will take the position or the seat of player seeded one. Okay.
Got it,
Still,
sir.
its own seed would be called, or its own rank would be called five only. But it would play as if it is player seeded one. And the score will also be called the same, as if player seeded one is playing. Okay. So
Yes,
what
sir.
is a score we discussed? What is an upset we discussed? So this is whole fundamental of knockout. But again, we did not actually try to formulate anything out of it. Okay, and because I was trying to make you understand for the first part. So is the basics clear now?
Yes, sir.
Now moving ahead to the concept of knockout. Knockout. How many matches? Can you say a particular? Let's say this was an example with five teams. If I say there are 12 teams, so can you guess how many matches will happen?
Six matches?
In that would happen only the first round.
Oh, yes. So a total of, I would say, 12 matches?
Okay, so again we can always think about it. Okay, but there's a very simple logic. Okay, there's no hi-fi formula for that. There's a very simple logic. Okay, and what is the logic? In a knockout tournament, what do you require? What the whole tournament happens for what? So that we can get one winner.
Yes, sir.
Okay, to get one winner, how many teams have to lose?
Out of 12 teams, 11 teams have to lose
Okay, and how will they lose it?
through different
For
matches with
losing,
different.
yeah, for losing, because anyways they will get a chance. They'll get only one chance to play a match,
Yes,
right?
sir.
So, if 11 teams have to lose, so every team has to play a match and then lose,
Yes, sir.
right? So, how many matches are supposed to happen?
For 12 teams, six matches would happen in the first
In
round.
the first round, I am asking if there are n teams playing a particular tournament. So that is happening for what? That is happening to get one winner.
So n
Okay.
minus one matches would happen.
Very good. And that is your logic. That's it. Nothing more.
Got it, sir.
Okay. So in n teams, we want one winner, ultimate winner. We want n minus one losers. Okay. To get n minus one losers, To get n minus 1 losers, we need one match each.
Yes, sir.
Okay. One match each for each loser.
Yes, sir.
For, I should say, not loser, for eliminating a particular player.
Yes, sir. So that they have all played a match.
Yes. Okay. So they all must have played a match. So how many matches will happen? N minus 1 matches. Right?
Yes, sir.
So the answer to the first question was how many matches happens? It is always n minus 1. So 5 teams, 4 matches happen, 12 teams, 11 matches will happen, 16 teams, 15 matches will happen, and so on. Okay. So the first question formula also is understood by you.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now let's move to the second question, that how many rounds will happen. Okay. How many rounds will be there? Okay. So for that logic, but before that, what is the condition for no buy? What is the condition
No,
for no buy?
an even number of teams.
For no buy, not in one round, but in the whole tournament. Can you think about it? Your first answer is correct. In a particular round, yes, the logic is there should be even number of teams. So in every round, there should be even number of teams.
Yes, sir.
So what should be the condition for that?
So I think one of the matches would have to be a tie or something
No,
similar.
no. Knockout match itself means that there are no tie. That no match ended in a tie. Okay. A match will end only when one team has turned out to be the winner and the other person is knocked out. He's lying on the stretcher. Sorry, a very saddest way of putting it forward. But
Yes,
yeah,
sir. Uh,
for every round, you need even number of teams, right?
yes, sir. For a no buy.
Right. So you need two N teams here, two M
Yes, sir.
teams here, two R teams here, right?
Yes, sir.
So all of them have to be a multiple of 2, 2, and 2, right?
Yes.
So this will happen only when this will happen only when the number of teams are in the form of, not a very clear thing, when a number of teams are of the form 2 to the power of n. Understanding my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when the total number of teams are of the form 2 to the power of n, then what will happen? In 2 to the power of n form, let's say give any number, let's say 32 for that matter. Okay. So if there are 32 teams put together, so can you guess what will happen? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on up till 32, 31,
32.
30, 29, and all of that. What will happen? In the first round, one will play with 32, two will play with 31,
31.
three will play with 30, four will play with 29, and so on. Okay. So how many matches will happen in round one?
16 matches?
Very good. In round one, 16 matches will happen. So if 16 matches happen, then how many players do you think will be there in the second round? If 16
8
matches
matches?
happen, No. My question is, how many players in the second round?
8 players.
16 players, no?
Sorry,
Round
16
two.
players.
Okay. So because 16 matches happened, in 16 matches, 16 players losers, 16 players winners. So 16 players would move to the next round,
Next round.
and 16 players would be thrown out of the tournament. Right? So in the
Yes.
round two, we will have 16 teams. Okay. Now here also what will happen? One will play a match with 16, two will play the match with 15, three will
15.
play the match with 14, four will play the match with 13, and so on.
Yes,
Right?
sir.
Five will play a match with 12. So now how many matches happens? Eight.
8.
Right? So how many players in the next round now?
8 players and 4 matches.
Very good. So in round three, we will be having 8 players, and how many matches will happen? 4.
4 matches.
Okay. One will play a match with 8, two will play a match with 7, three will play a match with 6, four will play a match with 5. Okay. So in round four, how many players now?
4 players, 2 matches.
Very good. So one, two, three, and four, because 4 players would be thrown out of the tournament, 4 players would be still there who have won. Okay. So how many matches will happen? You said two
Two
matches,
matches.
right? So one will play a match with 4, two will play a match with 3. If there is no upset, then 1 and 2 will reach the round number 5,
Yes, sir. And there will be one winner.
and there will be one particular match. So one player would be thrown out of the tournament, and we will get the one winner we were talking about. And if you add all these values, 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 8 plus 12, what you will be getting? You'll get,
31.
yes, you'll
31
be getting
matches.
31 matches. You'll get 31 as your answer, and that would be number of matches happens. And this 32 was of the form of 2 to the power of 5, right?
Yes, sir.
So how many rounds happen?
5
How many
rounds.
rounds happened? They were 5. And can you correlate the data here now?
Yes, sir.
Right. So what is the correlation now? If there are n
So
teams, and the n teams are of the form of 2 to the power of m, then number of rounds will be how much?
and M number of rounds.
Yes. And that is the formula. Understood this part?
Yes, sir.
Now, the next thing. If they are not of the form, not of the form 2 to the power of m, then how many rounds will happen?
Then there will be a bye.
There will be a buy.
So
Yeah, obviously there will be a buy eventually, but we cannot guess how many number of buys will happen. Okay,
yes, sir.
we have to actually see it round by round by round. If the question comes, how many buys happen in the whole tournament, and that is the only way to go about it, right?
Okay.
So, any idea about this thing? Okay, here, before we move
So
ahead and think about all these things, before that, there's a very important thing that I missed to tell you. So what was the score here?
the score
Score is what?
would be the sum of seeds who play a particular match. So the
Yes.
score is 32.
No. What is the score? In round one, every match that will happen will have a score of what?
We'll have a score of 32.
Why 32 beta? 32 is playing a match with 1. So what would be the score? Sum of the seeds. What will be the sum of the seeds?
1 plus
32, 33, right?
yes,
If you will count 31 plus 2, 33, 30 plus 3, 33, 29 plus 4, 33, 28 plus 5, 33. Understanding my point?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, here what would be the score?
17.
Yes. Okay. Here what will be the score?
9.
Yes. Here what will be the score?
5.
And in the last, what will be the score?
1. Sorry, 3.
Yeah. Okay. So whatever is the form here of 2 to the power of n plus 1 would always be the score. Right? So if there was if they were of the form of 2 to the power 5, then the score would be 2 to the power of 5 plus 1, 2 to the power of 4 plus 1, 2 to the power of 3 plus 1, 2 to the power of 2 plus 1, and 2 to the power of 1 plus 1. Any doubts till now?
No, sir. Clear.
Right? So the next thing is, what would be the number of rounds if the number of teams playing that particular tournament are not of the form 2 to the power of n. So what we'll do here,
So
yeah,
n minus 2 rounds?
n minus m minus 2. So
Yeah.
what is n? What is n?
M is the
Because
number of rounds.
oh no, I am asking another thing. If the number of teams, if the number of teams are not of the form 2 to the power of n, right? So if there are, let's say, 27 teams, if there are 27 teams, so we don't have any m only.
So then n minus 2?
So that would be 25. So do you think logically there will be 25 number of rounds? Just think
No, sir.
about it. If there were 27 teams, then you are saying 25 rounds. And if there are 32 teams, we just saw only 5 rounds.
5 rounds.
So obviously the number of rounds would be dependent on the number of teams also, right?
Yes, sir.
So it would not be, it can be 4, 5, 6 something, but it cannot go up till 25, obviously, right?
Yes, sir.
So any idea that what can be the number of rounds here?
Not sure, sir.
This n number will lie between some 2 to the power of p and between 2 to the power of m. Okay, the number of rounds, the number of teams would lie between a particular 2 to the power of p and m. Okay, let's say I mentioned a number 27. So 27 lies between, if there are 27 teams, so 27 will lie between 16, which is of the form of 2 to the power of 4 and 2 to the power of 5, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So how many rounds will happen?
2 raised to 5, so 5 rounds?
Yes. And let's cross check. Okay. So if there are 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 25, 26, 27. So here in round number 1, see, the more time you will spend on fundamentals, okay, I can discuss directly CAT level questions with you. No issues about that. But the point is, the more time you spend on the fundamental building, it would be much easier for you to actually, do any level of questions after that. Okay, so initially it might sound or it might seem that I'm going pretty slow, but that's not the case because we are not going through a crash course batch, okay, which I generally take for your particular organization, but I'm going for a proper batch. So proper discussion will happen here. Okay, otherwise in 2 or 3 classes, the whole games and tournaments are over. Okay, or maximum 4 classes, I should say. So, in round 1, what would be the number of matches that will happen?
There would be 13 matches, and one team would be a bye.
Winner by. And which would be that particular team?
Mm, the centermost team.
Yeah,
So I
that is
think
correct. So, okay, if I ask you that what would be the seed of the team who would play a match against team number, let's say 20. Okay. So can you guess without actually doing it manually? Can you guess?
8 plus 20, so 28.
Yeah, your thinking process is right. So because here, what is the score? The score is 28, right? So if I have
Yes,
to
sir.
find out who will play a match with which team, so the logic is pretty simple. When I ask you 20, you would say that what should I add to 20 in order to make it 28?
Yeah,
Your answer would be 8. Okay,
got it, sir.
right? And that is the logic of score, right? So obviously here what will happen then now, that if I do the half, if I do the half of 27 or near half to that, so that would be 13 or 14. Okay. So if I can guess that 13 would play a match with which team, so what should I add to 13 to get 28? Can you guess?
15?
Yes. And so that would happen, that this match will happen for sure
Yes,
because
sir.
we are getting a particular team. What should I add to 14 to get 28?
14.
Nothing. So 14 cannot play a match with himself, right?
Yes, got
So
it,
he would
sir.
be given a bye, right? So
Yes, sir.
I will get, if there are no upsets, then I will get 1 to 13 as the winner, and 14 would be moving ahead without playing a particular match. So 14 would be given a bye. Understanding this thing? So what will happen?
Got it, sir.
Players seeded 15 to 27 would be thrown out of the tournament. Simple as that.
Got it, sir.
Now, what will happen round two?
In round two,
Tell me the score. Tell me who will be given a bye or whatever.
sir, I think the score would be 16 and then
Score will be
16.
no. How 16?
Sorry, sir, 15. The score will be 15.
Yes.
And in the case of no upset, the score will be 15. And 8, I think the 8 team would be the bye.
Why? You only told me that what is the condition for no bye?
The number of the round would be lesser than 2m and greater than 2p.
No. I don't see what is the issue is with every student. It happens that the more you learn new things, you forget the fundamentals. Don't forget your fundamentals. So, what was the fundamental that you only told me? That
That
what is the
for
condition?
no bye, it
Uh,
will be an even number of teams.
yes. So, if there are 14 teams, do you think any team will get a bye? Every
No
team would get a chance to play a match, right?
match.
One will
Yes,
play
sir.
a match with 14, two with 13, three with something or something or the other. And the middle match, the score is 15. So the middle team, which is 7, would play a match with 8. Okay.
8. Got
These
it,
are
sir.
the nearest teams between which there's no particular seed. So that is the last match that means. Understanding this point?
Got it, sir.
Right. So now 1 to 7 happens. So what would be the score here?
8.
Very good. The score will be 8. And if the score is 8, how many matches will happen?
3 matches and 4 would get a bye.
Very good. And if there's no upset,
Then 1 and 2 will go into the final round.
okay. Then if there's no upset, then 1, 2, 3 will go ahead, and 4 was got a bye. So he will go
Bye.
ahead, and 5, 6, and 7 would be thrown out of the tournament.
Yeah.
Right? And in round 4, what will happen?
There will be a score of 5, and then teams 1 and 2 will go ahead in the case of no upset.
Very good. And 3 and 4 will be thrown out of the tournament. The score would be 5. So 3 and 4 gone. And this is called the final match. So one would be the ultimate winner. If
Winner.
here the score will be 3. Okay. And
Yes.
this will be round 5. Okay. Any doubts?
No, sir. Fair.
Okay. Okay. So this is about it. Now, can we count the number of matches that happens?
Yes, sir.
13 matches here, 7
13
matches here.
matches, 7 matches,
Okay. Next.
4, no, 3 matches.
Very good. That is a point of error that happens. Okay. And as soon as the number of teams becomes 2 to the power of n, this case happen in round number 4. But ultimately, give me any number. Give me any number of teams. There will be a case when they will become of the form 2 to the power of n. Okay. And
Yes, sir.
as and when it happens, after that, the whole scenario would always be 2 to the power of n format. So this would be the thing. So obviously, we do not actually needed to write the number of matches that happens, because we know if there are 27 teams, then 26 total number of matches will happen.
Got it.
N minus 1, right?
Yeah.
But the important point to be noted here was how many. Why were we writing it down? The logic behind that, or the reason behind that, was to find a number of rounds. Because we found out that 27 lies between 2 to the power of 4 and 2 to the power of 5. Right? We got that
Yes,
part?
sir. Yeah.
So, will there be 4 rounds or 5 rounds? That was the reason behind thinking about all these things. Hai na?
Yes, sir.
So, we got the answer that yes. So whichever 2 to the power of n is there, which is just more than n. Okay. So n
Yes, sir.
rounds will happen. So if the number
Got
of
it, sir.
teams are not of the form 2 to the power of n, then we will think about, okay, write this points down. Think about or 2 to the power of n, just more than n, and that many rounds will happen.
Got it, sir.
Clear now?
Yes, sir.
So that is a solution of the second point also. And the third point we already did. What the seed thing we already did, score we already did, upset we already did. So this is the complete fundamental about what happens in a knockout tournament. Am I clear till now?
Yes, sir.
So I'll give you a couple of minutes. Try to solve this particular caselet, or at least form the skeleton out of it. Okay. And then we'll actually start with the discussion of it. So, were you able to form the skeleton at least?
Yes, sir. I was able to form a rough skeleton.
The reason I wanted to see that is to try to understand that what is the current kind of your process of thinking. Okay, so you were able to spell out all these things. I don't find any issue there, but the issue is, as I told you, that you have to form a skeleton, right? And try to make the skeleton in a tabular format. Okay, so
Yes, sir.
now try to learn or read what is the method I am thinking about. Okay, so Rinku goes to Delhi Food Fair held in Petrapura last Sunday. Again, illogical thing, nothing fruitful out of it. No data we can extract out or convert into information. He takes an entry ticket to the sweet and the namkeen section of the fair. So broadly, there are two sections, right? There's one sweet section and there's one namkeen section. So the broad classification can be sweet and namkeen. Okay, and if we add these two, we will get the total value. Okay, now the section of the fair had four stalls. Okay, so these are the four stalls being talked about. One is high mirchi, the other is mirchis. Okay, the other is mirch masala. There's mirch rasoi. So you are comfortable with Hindi language also, or
Yes, sir. Yes.
so you must be knowing all these meanings, right? What do you mean by
Yes.
rasoi? What do you mean by masala and everything?
Yeah, Rasoi is
Okay,
kitchen, milk is spicy. Yeah.
right. Okay. So these are the other four tabs. Okay. Now, why was I able to put it into tabular data? The
So
reason
that
was,
we can see it in a glance.
may I beg your pardon?
So that we can see all the data in a glance to
That
know
is
where it is.
that is a benefit out of it. I am asking you, why was I able to do that? What was the reason behind that? Why was I able to do that? The reason was because these data are mutually exclusive data. Okay, a very important word. Mutually exclusive data they are. Mutually exclusive means there's nothing common between them. Okay, there can be no
Yes,
overlapping.
sir.
Okay, a sweet cannot be a namkeen cannot be a sweet. Okay,
Got it.
though we do, let's say, uh, we have mojito or we have fresh lime soda, and then we mix the sweet and salted part, but that doesn't, is good for here. Similarly, a high mirchi stall cannot have any intersection with mirchis or vice versa, right? So all these data, all these four rows data and all the four two column data are mutually exclusive, and that is the reason we can actually segregate them in this particular fashion or in a particular form of a table. Okay, and if they are not mutually exclusive, that kind of case set goes into the Venn diagram kind of questions. Okay, so how to decipher that it is a Venn diagram question if some data is not mutually exclusive. For example, if I say the student who like coffee and the students who like, or I should say here, if there are some people who like uh, the stall mirch masala and there are students who like the stall high mirchi. Okay, so obviously there can be some students who lie in both these categories, who like both mirch masala and high mirchi, right?
Yes.
Right. So this would become a question of Venn diagram. Understanding my point?
Yes, sir.
Now, these four stalls had 16 suite because I read the other line, so I made a space for this particular data. There are 16 suites and there are, sorry. It is saying there are 16 sweet and namkeen items among them to sell. So that means the total is 16. Okay. And these shops sell different number of sweets and namkeens. Okay, so this is a total of high mirchi. There's a total for mirchis. There's a total for mirch masala. There's a total for mirch rasoi, and all these numbers should be distinct numbers. Okay, we cannot have four here and four here kind of a thing. Anyways, moving ahead, there were a total of 9 sweets. So obviously, the remaining 7 would come under the namkeen part. Now, this data plus this data is called the skeleton making data, right? Namkeen items available in the fair were namkeen items. What can those be? K, L, M, N, O, P, and Q.
So,
So these can be the namkeen items. Okay. Similarly, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. So these would be the sweet data. Clear?
Yes, sir.
The information is also available. The following information is also available. So till here, whatever you wrote is skeleton. Now, these statements would help you to actually fill up the skeleton, right? So understanding the word skeleton
Yes, sir.
now, and you are understanding that what is the needed reform in your way of putting the data. Okay, I saw the data that you put, and now you would have understood that if you would have put the data in this particular fashion, it would become easier for you to actually write it down. And the best part is now, if I hide this whole thing from you, there's nothing in the whole caselet that you need to go back and see also.
Yes, sir.
Everything which was there, I have already put down, so you don't need to go back and retrieve the data back again and come forth, right? So that is the reason behind putting the data in this particular fashion, so that you don't have to revisit the data again. So now this is called the processed information from the data which was there. Now, let's try to process these points now. From each stall, Rinku purchased different number of sweets and namkeen combined. Okay, so this data is being repeated, that this value has to be different. But yeah, the total has to be 16. This plus this is, anyways, we know this is 9, this is 7. So here it will be 16. And this plus this plus this plus this should also be 16. Okay. P is an only namkeen item available at a particular stall. The same is true for Q also. Okay. So in one stall, only P will be there. In one stall, only Q will be there. So these are the two stalls where only one item is there. So that means the other 5 items would be segregated in the other 2 stalls. Because we know the total number of stalls are 4. Now, Mish Rasoi MR had more namkeens to offer. So Mish Rasoi namkeens are more than high mirchi namkeens. Which now, that is where your English would come into use. Which is a, what is it? Which part of speech is the word which? So which is a
Yes,
conjunction.
sir.
Okay, a conjunction is used to join two sentences.
Two
Okay,
sentences.
and the concept here is there are two kinds of conjunctions. One is W conjunctions, which start with the word W, obviously. The words like which, whom, whose, है ना? Who will,
Yes.
all of these. So what happens here? Before these words, there will be two nouns will be there. Noun 1 and noun 2. So there will be two nouns. And after this particular words, there will be a talk about something. Okay, there will be a talk about something, and that would be with reference to which noun?
With
Noun
reference.
2. So here, which did not have any sweet to offer. So who did not have? Hai Mirchi or Mr. Soi?
Heinrich did not have any sweets to offer,
Very good.
and Miss Rasoi had more namkeen.
Yes, because the word which is used, so this is noun 2, this is noun 1. Whatever will be the talk, it would be with reference to noun 2. Understanding this point?
Yes, sir.
Right. So that means Hai Mirchi HM does not have any sweets to offer. Nothing here. Okay, null set. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Now, Mirch Masala had only V, Y, and Z. Mirch Masala, MM. had only V, Y, and Z. Now, if you see here V, Y, and Z, all of them are sweet items. And if it is saying that it had only these things to offer, then that means it will have no namkeen to offer. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
And
Got it.
if it will have nothing to offer, no namkeen to offer, then it automatically means that every other namkeen apart from P and Q will go under the third case or the fourth
Yes, sir.
restaurant or the stall. Is it clear? Because P and
Yes, sir.
Q have to be separate, right? So third stall
Mhm.
doesn't have anything, any namkeen to offer. So all the other namkeens would go under the fourth thing only. Clear?
Got it, sir.
The number of stalls selling sweets was less than the number of stalls selling namkeens. So the number of stalls hash denotes number of. Okay. Number of sweet stalls was less than number of namkeen stalls. Now we know that the namkeen stalls are three for sure, right? One,
Yes, sir.
two, and three. Three stalls are selling namkeen. So if this number has to be lesser than that, so that can only be one or two.
Yes, sir.
Now, one stall which is of sweet, we already know it has three items. Is it clear? So
Yes,
that
sir.
automatically mean the other six items has to go somewhere else. It cannot go in only. It has to go
Yeah,
somewhere else. So the opportunity or option of one item being here is not a possibility.
got it, sir.
So that means there has to be two stalls. There has to be two stalls selling sweets. So that means one of these two stalls would be a null set more, and all the other stalls will have this R, S, T, U, W, and X. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, P is not sold at a stall which had maximum items to offer. So the number of items to be offered by are three, right?
Yes, sir.
And it also says the number of namkeen items. This thing is very important. The number of namkeen items in MR is more than MH. Now, the number of namkeen items in these four stalls can take only these data,
Yes, sir.
right? Sorry, not one, not two here. It should be one only. So, number of namkeen item in one stall is P. Number of namkeen item other stall is also one only. In one stall, there are 0 items, and one stall, there are 5 items. So, what data, what number of namkeen items can MR hold?
I think MR would hold five,
Only
and
option.
yeah,
Is it clear?
yes, sir.
Now, MR will get all the other 5 items which were there apart from P and Q. So, it will have a K, it will have a L, it will have M, it will have N, and it will have O. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
And these two will either have P or Q, or it will have Q and this will have P. This is the only option which is there.
Yes, sir.
Now, for sure, this will only have one item because the number of sweet items are 0, and
Yes,
either
sir.
P or Q, the number of item will be one only, right?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Now, the number of stalls selling sweets was ho gaya. P is not sold at a stall which has maximum items to offer. So P is not sold at a stall which has maximum items to offer. So that automatically means that P is not sold here.
Yes, sir.
right? So P would be sold here and Q would be sold here. And this would have maximum number of items. Can I decipher this as well? That
Yes, sir.
M will have maximum items to offer. So that means P cannot be here and Q cannot be here. So P will be here and Q would be here, and this would have maximum items to offer. So automatically, all the other data R, S, T, U, W, and X will go here, and the number of items to offer here will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So 7 items would be offered here, and because the number of sweet items selling stalls can only be 2, so that means there has to be another null set here.
Yes, sir.
So there will be 5 items being sold in MR,
Yes, sir.
right? And there's one more reason. There's one more reason to put this particular value here. Just imagine if RSTU WNX comes here. Okay, so there will be 6 items here, and there will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items here. 6 plus 5, 11 can also have been here. Okay, but in that
Got it, sir.
case, the null set would come here, and here there will be Q only. So these
Mm.
two stalls will have one item to sell.
Each.
So, and that is not a possibility because it says that every stall has to have a unique number of items to sell.
Got it, sir.
So this is a solution, complete solution that we can bring forth you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Till the point number 6, we were able to solve everything or put forward everything. Now let's talk more about it. Rinku purchases all the 16 items by the end of the day, and each item is available only at one stall in one single piece. Okay, so there's no intersection here. That is what it actually means. Means, sorry. Now,
Yes,
further
sir.
it is known that the items K and 2Z has prices in rupees equal to 1 to 16. Okay, equal to 1 to 16 has to be here. Now, so that means K would be 1 rupee, L 2 rupees, M 3 rupees, MN 4, O 5 rupees, P 6 rupees, PQ 7, R S T U V here, UV W X Y and Z. Okay, so from 1 to 16 everything is fulfilled. So this is the prices of all these items as well. Any doubt?
No, sir. Clear.
Perfect. At a certain instant, if Rinku had purchased 4 items at random, collectively from Mirchis and Mirch Rasoi. So he has purchased 4 items. Okay. Which of the following cannot be the amount he has to pay for these 4 items? Okay. So Mirchis. Okay. So let me do one small thing for you. So what I've done is I've copy pasted that data and put it here for you. Is it clear? So from Mirchis and Mirch Rasoi,
Yes,
from
sir.
Mirchis, this is this one, and Mirch Rasoi, which is this one. Okay. So now what are the data which are there? There's a Q. You can see the data, right? So we don't have to write it
Yes, sir.
again, right? Which of the following cannot be the amount that he has to pay? So we'll try to make the amount 24. We have to find out which of the following cannot be, which of the following cannot be, which is not a possibility. So try to make the sum 24. Try to make the sum 24.
Okay.
With the items, 4 items, you have to buy 4 items. You have to buy 4 items and make the sum 24.
So I think he can purchase X,
He has to purchase 4 items.
X, K, and N.
4 items.
Yes, sir. X from Mirchis and K, N, and O from Rasoi, Mirch Rasoi.
Right? So it is possible, right? So I can
Yeah.
take another data. I can use more data. Let's say I take the costliest item, 14, right? X.
Yes, sir.
Then I take the next least item. Okay, so 10 rupees are gone. So I purchase 1 rupee item. What is 1 rupee item? K.
K.
So now 9 rupees I require. 9 rupees I can get with 4 and 5 also.
Yes, sir. N and O.
है ना? So did you say take took the same data? No, I
Yeah.
can.
K, K, X, N and O. That
So
was
you
my
took
answer.
the same data. Okay. So
Yeah.
we could have taken any other data also. That was my point. That is why I was giving an example. We can take any other data also, but we have to make it 24. So let's say I took 10 rupee item, which is T. I took 11 rupees item, which is U. So what happened here is I got 21.
21.
So now I took 1, 22, and 2.
K and L.
You know? So that is
Yes,
also an
sir.
option. So you can have multiple options, but the logic behind that is it can be formed. So 24 cannot be my answer, right?
Yes, sir.
Next, 33. Similarly, 33 can be formed.
So I think we can take Z.
Z we cannot take because it is from guy, guys.
Oh, then I don't think so, sir. It's possible.
Why? See here. So we wanted to make 33. So I took 10, I took 13. So 23 is formed. Now 23 is formed. So we need 10 more. So 10 we can get by 8 and 2.
Oh, yes, sir.
है ना? So it can be formed. Similarly, so this cannot be my answer. Similarly, try to do 38. You will get this also.
Yes,
I
sir.
feel. Are
38
you
is
getting?
possible.
It is also
Yes, sir.
possible. So again,
Yes,
this
sir.
also can be formed. Which of the following cannot be the amount he has to pay? None of these. So we are able
Yes,
to
sir.
form some or the other amount. Okay. Is it clear till now?
Yes, sir.
Now, Rinku has already purchased all the items of Mirch Rasoi, High Mirchi, and Mirch Masala, and the two cheapest items of Mirchis. When he runs out of money, he rushes to his friend to get the balance amount required to purchase the remaining items. The amount that his friend lends as a percentage of. Now, remember, the reason behind taking the first class of percentage was after the word of, what is a noun which is coming?
Rinku.
Already spent amount. So after the word of, after the word then, after the word with respect to, after the word from, by, related to, whatever noun comes, we take that in the denominator part.
Yes, sir.
Already spent amount will come in the denominator part into 100. And what is the numerator? What is it being compared to? It is being compared to the amount his friend lends. Okay. Or I
Yes, sir.
can write here pending amount, the amount that he didn't have. Is it correct?
Yes, sir.
So because we took the first class and we understood the first rule of writing the percentages form of the things, and that is the reason why we were able to solve this cat question. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now, what he is paying Mirch Rasoi. So Mirch Rasoi, he purchased everything here. Then he purchased High Mirchi. Then he purchased Mirch Masala. These three stalls he items, these three items of these stalls he purchased. So he already spent 6 rupees from HM, 12, 15 and 16 rupees from these MM, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, which is 6 plus 6, 12, 12 plus 3, 15, 15 plus 15, 30, okay, 30 plus 18, 30 plus 18, 48. And 48 plus 16, 64. Right?
Yes, sir.
And also the two cheapest items from M. So what are the cheapest items? 7 and 8 rupees items.
Yes, sir.
That would become 15. 64 plus 15, 79. So what is the amount already spent? 79. Okay. In order to buy everything which started from 1 to 16, what is the total sum? Now you should know this particular formula, sum of first n terms, and that is n into n plus 1 upon 2. So that you don't have to actually manually calculate that. Okay. So the sum of the
Yes,
first
sir.
n terms formula is n into n plus 1 upon 2. So if n value is 16 in this particular case, the answer would be 16 into 17 upon 2. 7 8s are 56, 5 carry, and 8 plus 5, 13. So
30.
136 is the total amount to be spent, out of which 79 rupees have already been spent. So we'll get here 12 here and 7 here. Okay, 57. So 57 is a pending amount. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now 57 upon 79 into 100 is the value you need to get to, right? And the options that we are having as of now, okay, the option that we are having as of now talks about some value, which is if I can somehow calculate what is 70 percentage. So I can segregate whether the answer would be more than 70. So this option can be there. And if I calculate 80%, so if that is if it is more than 80, then this answer will be there. And if it is between 70 and 80, these two options are there. And if it is less than 70, then this option will be the answer. Are you able to see how we can actually use the questions for our options for our advantage?
Yes, sir.
So now 79 is 100% of itself. So what would be 10 percentage of it? 7.9,
0.9.
right? What would be 30 percentage? It would be a triple of this. Okay. It can also be
Yes,
8 into 3, 24 minus 0.3. So 23.7. Now, if I subtract these two values, 100 from 30, so I'll get 70 percentage. And if I subtract 79 minus 23.7, what I'll get? It would be 0.3 here, 5 here,
yes, sir.
and 5 here, right? 55.3. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, 70% is 55.3. But the answer or the numerator here is more than that, right?
Yes, sir.
So that means 69.93 cannot be my answer.
Yes, sir.
You know? So the answer has to be little more than that and only little more. So what is the difference between 55.3 and 57? It is 1.7, right? It is
Yes, sir.
1.7.
1.7.
Now, if I take 10 percentage to be 7.9 or 8, if 10 percentage is considered to be 8, or I should say, if 10% is this much, what would be 1 percentage? 0.79.
0.79. Yes, sir.
And can I consider 0.79 to be 0.8?
Yes, sir. Rounding it up.
Right? So 2 percentage would be 1.6,
Yes, sir.
which is very close to 1.7. So that means if 70 percentage gets added by 2 percentage, I will approximately get 1.6 here instead of 1.7. So my answer would be very close to 72. And which is the option?
Option number 2.
And that would be a solution for it. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Now, the third question, the fourth question, these are the last two questions which are of this particular thing. Please take a screenshot of that, okay, and share with me the solution. So we'll meet in the next class now.